Hey guys, my name is Richard from Homework Hookup, and I am doing another video on solving quadratic equations using the candy wrapper method. This is a method that I was taught in school, and it's very helpful for these kind of quadratic equations. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. So luckily, our equation's pretty much ready to be worked on. Sometimes there might be a term on this side that we got to bring over, but everything's perfectly fine. So without further ado, we'll just go into it. So what you want to do is you're going to want to draw lines like this, little squigglies like this. And it's very important that you want to draw them exactly like this, right? And if you can see, it actually forms what looks like a candy wrapper. So that's why they call it candy wrapper method. So anyway, we're going to start off with this term right here, the x squared term. So for x squared, we want to think about what two things can you multiply to get x squared, right? So in my mind, I just automatically just go to x times x. That's actually exactly what we want to use. So we're going to put an x here, and we're going to put an x down here. All right, cool. All right, so now we're on this term. So this term is a negative 15. So what we want to do is we want to find all the ways to multiply to get negative 15. So we have negative 15. I could do negative 15 times 1. I can also do 15 times a negative 1. We could also do 5 times 3. 5 times a negative 3, sorry. And then I can also do a negative 5 times a 3. Right? Okay, so that part's done. There's no other ways to get 15, so we're pretty much finished. Okay, so now the thing is we want to go down the line, and we're working on this part, which is the last part. So the last part is, okay, so we found our numbers that multiply to negative 15. However, we need to make sure that when you add these numbers together, when you add this number and this number, that they add up to the number in front of the x. So the number in front of the x in this case should be 2. So we know that negative 15 times 1, so we're just going to try this guy first. This one, negative 15 times 1 is obviously going to be negative 15, but when we add them together, what we get is negative 15, and that's a positive 1 plus 1. We get a negative 14, which is not negative 2, so we're going to eliminate this guy. I could do the same for this, but I can see it's going to be exactly the same. Instead of a negative 14, we're getting a positive 14, so we'll eliminate this guy as well. Let's look at 5 times negative 3. So 5 times negative 3, that multiplies to negative 15. All right, no problem. But when we add them, we get 5 plus a negative 3, which is the same thing as just saying 5 minus 3. I'll just do that, 5 minus 3, which give us a positive 2. So our answer is negative 2, so we're close, but that's not it. So as you can see, it must be this because we're at the bottom of our group. So let's see. So negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. When we add them together, we have negative 5 plus a positive 3, we get negative 2. So bingo, this is the right one. So what you're going to do is you're going to write the negative 5 up here. You're going to write the positive 3 right here. And this is what you're going to do. So this is what our answer is going to look like. So we're going to have x minus 5 x minus 5 times x. There's a plus right here because this was a positive 3. Plus 3 is equal to 0. All right. So we're almost done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set each of these terms to 0. So the first term is x minus 5 equals 0. And the second term is x plus 3 equals 0. And then just solve for x. So for this one, we're going to add 5 on both sides. The 5's cancel, so we get x is equal to 5. And then for this guy, we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. So we give us a little bit of room here. We get x equals negative 3. So these are our two answers for this particular quadratic equation. So the candy wrapper method is very helpful. There are instances where it won't work. You'll see very quickly that it won't work. So you just would have to default to the quadratic formula, which will solve any one of these quadratic equations. But anyway, that was just another example of how easy this method is. Hopefully you liked it. I did another video on the candy wrapper method, so if you need more practice, definitely check that out. That's essentially it. That is it for this video. So if you happen to need tutoring or are interested in online tutoring, this is the name of my business, Homework Hookup. I do online tutoring as well as, won't be doing in person in a while because of everything that's going on. But anyway, my website is homeworkhookup.xyz. I'll put everything in the description, and you can reach out to me there. But thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it helped.